Hello viewers, Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to my channel Learn English with Hamid. We continue with our parts of speech series and today we discuss verbs. Verb. Let's go to the board. So, what is verb? What is a verb? Well, of course, verb is a word. It is a word and that word shows action. I'm sure you know that. So verb is a word which shows action. And if you see here, I have written verb can be words also. I'm going to give you some examples later in the video. Right? So verb is a word which shows action. For example, run, play, swim, jump. These are words which show action. And action doesn't mean the Hollywood movie type action. Action means, like, for example, I'm writing, I'm speaking, this is action. I am writing, this is action. So read, write, jump, play, swim, they are all action verbs. So verbs can show either action or states. So state verbs are have, agree, think, fit, for example. These verbs are state verbs. The next point about verb is that the verb is the most important word in a sentence. In English, verb is the most important part. If you have a string of words like in the morning, at 10 o'clock, in my home, around the corner, I have used lots of words, but there is no verb in this sentence, so the sentence is incomplete. But if I just say somebody knocks at the door and I say come, I just use one word. I use one word and it gives a complete sense. So verb is the most important part of speech in a sentence. Without verb, a sentence in English is incomplete. The next point, the fourth point is verbs can be divided into main verbs and auxiliary verbs. Main verbs and auxiliary verbs. So a verb could be a main verb or auxiliary verbs. So main verbs are like jump, swim, read, write, and auxiliary verbs or helping verbs are like can, could, shall, should, may, might. These are auxiliary verbs. What is the difference? Well, there are lots of differences and there are similarities as well. It's just one thing. Main verbs are unlimited in English. Like, we don't know exactly how many main verbs there are in English. There are so many. Auxiliary verbs, on the other hand, auxiliary verbs like can, could, may, might, shall, they are limited in number. I don't know the exact number, but I'm sure they're not more than 30 in English. So main verbs unlimited, auxiliary verbs limited. They have similarities as well, but we'll discuss that in some other video. The next point about verb is you might be asked this question: what is the difference between a verb and a noun? So what do you think? I'm sure you know the difference. The difference between a verb and a noun is verbs have a past form. If you take a verb, it has a past form. For example, verbs have past forms like have, had, agree, agreed, swim, swam. They have a past form. Even these verbs have a past form. Can, could, may, might, right? They have a past form. And nouns have a plural form. Most nouns have a plural form, like marker, markers, fan, fans. These are nouns and they have a plural form. So that's the basic difference. Verbs show action, nouns don't show action. Verbs have a past form, nouns don't have a past form, they have a plural form. And if you see here, I have written words. Verb is a word which it could have more than one word. So what are those kind of verbs which contain or which consist of two words, for example? These are phrasal verbs. Words like go on, look into. These are phrasal verbs and they have more than one word. We have different types of verbs. We have, for example, transitive verbs and intransitive verbs. Transitive verbs are verbs which take an object. We must use an object after them. If we don't use an object after them, sentence is wrong, sentence is incomplete. For example, if I say I hit, so you might ask, you hit what? So for example, I hit a ball, let's say. I see, I saw. Yesterday I saw, so you'll say you saw what? I say yesterday I saw your brother, for example. If I say I watched and I stop, you'll say what did you watch? So I say, for example, I watched a movie. So in order to know the object in a sentence, you must ask the question what or who. So what did you hit? Who did you see, for example? So these two questions will give you a clue about an object in a sentence. And intransitive verbs are verbs which don't need an object. You don't need an object, you say the sentence and the sentence is complete. For example, I smiled. That's it. The child smiled, for example. Ran. I ran. I ran hard, for example. Hard is not an object, by the way. I ran hard. I ran fast, for example. Went. Go, went. I go to school, for example. I go to university. I go to college. So to university, to college, to school, that's not an object. So it takes no object. Cry, for example. The child is crying. No object required. They are intransitive verbs. Another point about these transitive and intransitive verbs, there are some verbs which are both transitive and intransitive. For example, read. Read is both transitive and intransitive. Eat, drink. These verbs are both transitive and intransitive, and there are many more. So it depends on the sentence in which we use them. So for example, I read when I'm free. Intransitive. I read a book yesterday. I read a story yesterday, for example. I eat. I eat a lot, for example. So a lot is not an object. Or I ate meal. I ate a good meal yesterday, for example. So these verbs are both transitive and intransitive. That's it what we have for today. We'll continue with the verb. And before we leave, please like, share and subscribe to my channel and come back for more videos. See you.